Everybody, Andrew here. Just going to show you a few cool activities you can do at home with your kids with things that you'll find just sort of around the house. The first one is called Magic Milk, and you'll need whole milk, dish soap, cotton balls, and food coloring. First thing you're going to do is take your milk and pour some in the bowl, just enough to cover the bottom and then a bit more. Then you're going to want to take your soap and pour it in a separate bowl. This will be for dipping. And then this is the fun part. So you can take a color. Let's start with blue. Just do a couple drops. One drop there, one drop there. And we'll do a little yellow. One drop there, one drop there. Okay. So what's happening here is chemistry. So we're gonna dip our cotton ball in the soap, and when we put it in the milk, something's gonna happen. Color explosion. All right, the kids get a real kick out of this one. So what's happening here is inside whole milk, there's a lot of minerals and proteins and fats, and when you put the soap in there, it sort of splits them all apart, and you can only really notice that because of the food coloring. The next activity I'm going to show you is how to make super awesome homemade bubbles. First thing you're going to want to do is find a big bowl and add 1.5 cups of water. Next, you're going to want to measure out 1/2 cup of dish soap. And that's about 1/2 cup. And then the special ingredient that's going to make your bubbles extra fun to play with is liquid corn syrup. Oh, and we're going to add 1/4 cup of that. You can play around with how much corn syrup you put in, but if you put too much, your bubbles will leave sort of like a sticky residue on your floor, and you may not want that. So you mix them all in, and then you're just gonna stir for a couple minutes, make sure all those things mix up well together. It's gonna get pretty bubbly in your bowl. And once you've got some bubbles resting on the top, that usually means it's about ready. We'll try. So the last thing I want to show you is how we do shaving cream at Basic Trust. So you'll want to start with a flat surface. And sometimes at BT, we'll cover it with a cloth or a garbage bag, up to you. So what we'll usually do is shake it up, and we'll start with just a little bit at first. Sometimes the kids will dive right in. Sometimes they won't be into it. It might take a second, but usually they'll just start, they'll touch it, they'll feel it out, see how sticky it is, how smooth it is, how soft it is. And then they might start, like rubbing it on their arms a little bit. They might take some and rub it on their bellies or rub it on their faces a little, right? Usually they'll get pretty into it. I hope you found this video helpful, and stay safe, everybody.